Hello guys, Arkan here. I just want to take some time to tell you guys that we have a Patreon set up for the channel. It's an additional way you can support us. So I will put the link in the YouTube cards and in the description. Thanks for checking it out and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hello guys, Arkan here. I am the darkness in the light, the flower on the wall, and the resplendent nightfall. Welcome back to The Legend of Divinity. And we can see again here that they updated the start screen again. They really did not disappoint. Even though last time I told them, I said on the video that the start screen was so shiny, they made it even shinier. It's so wow. I just... I have no words. By the way, if you guys really like this VN, maybe you could send some support their way. It's on their itch page, and I can also put the link in the description. On the last video, we were left with a plot point where it was introduced that maybe Vilmar had a girlfriend, and this kind of threatened the relationship forming between Hooji and Vilmar, since Hooji seems to have some interest in Vilmar, and this caused Hooji to doubt Vilmar because he's been hiding things. But I really can't blame Vilmar because, you know, they haven't talked for quite a while, so they really couldn't catch up right away and mention everything that's new to them. At least that's what my experience is in real life when I meet people whom I haven't talked to for a long time. It's not like I can just, oh, this is everything that's new to me. So I can't blame Vilmar for hiding things, or it may seem like he's hiding things, but he just hasn't had a chance to say these things to Hooji. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. Load. Chapter 3. Legend of the Unknown. Legend of the Unknown. Ugh, my whole body is sore. Every night spent in this bed is bad for my spine. With my eyes still half shut, I look around my room. It's the same as always. I lay awkwardly on the uncomfortable bed. There's an odd feeling in the back of my mind. Did something happen last night? Brief glimpses flash in my mind. It's a person, but I can't focus on it as I quickly forget the strange dream. What is going on in this academy? Getting up from bed, I pick up my phone and look at the time. My biological clock still seems intact. It's 7:01. Several messages greet me on my notifications, but I don't want to answer just yet, so I put my phone back down. The aching feeling in my stomach is letting me know that I did not eat properly yesterday, my stomach rumbling every now and then with intensity. I don't remember anything after Hedwig and Gabriel left. But it wasn't too late. How did I even pass out? I sit and stare at the floor for about 5 minutes, trying to remember anything, but to no avail. I spend some time making the bed. As I fold the sheets, I notice the intricate pattern in my paw. It's bigger now, way more spread out and not easy to hide anymore. There's still no explanation for it, but to be honest, I'm not in the mood to think about it at all. I'm scrambling to get everything I need for my class. They should have given us a material list. There won't be any note-taking, right? And how can you even take notes while you're brewing potions? The morning's just started, and I've already got my head full of crap. I pick up my phone again and check my conversation with Vilmar. No new messages. He's been offline for a few hours too. I don't even want to guess what he was up to last night. A sudden anger comes over me, but it quickly fades as I open the door and step out into the hallway. It's still very early. Class doesn't start until 8. Why did I set my alarm so early? I could have slept in. I pick up my phone and decide to read all the new messages. Gabriel sent a bunch of stupid memes, as usual. To my surprise, Hedwig sent some things as well. They're actually links to various articles about potions. Oh, that's our first period. He likes potion brewing? I never would have guessed. The article seems legit, but to my own disappointment, I can barely understand any of their arguments or topics of study. I pray to God it's not another Mr. Astor. I need some peace of mind in my classes. I sigh heavily as I slowly walk down the hallways and out into the communal area. The first thing that catches my eye is Roberta, who's sitting at the front desk, busily typing away. Talk to Roberta or sit and think? Here's a chance to interact more with Roberta, so let's talk to her. I dare to approach her. She notices me right away and smiles shyly, shifting her gaze from the computer to me. Good morning, Roberta. She pauses for a second, trying to remember my name. Good morning, Hooji. Is something wrong? She gets completely distracted from her work and gives her full attention to me. Oh no, I just thought I'd say hello and see how you're doing. The feline secretary smirks. She rummages through her desk and pulls out a small, neatly wrapped bun, which she hands to me. I'm doing fine. Here, help yourself. Her voice is calm. She must have gotten a good night of sleep this time, though I can still see her eye bags. I take the bun in my paws and nod. Thank you very much. She giggles. My shift ended early yesterday, so I was finally able to go to the mall. By the way, I went to this cafe and they have really good pasta. You should go there. Roberta looked very enthusiastic. Is she always like this when not sleep deprived? You've been there before, haven't you? You mean to Colvart? That's the one. There's a yellow-colored place on the first floor. It stands out from the rest. You can't miss it. Heh, okay, thanks. After some hesitation, I take a bite of the soft bun. It's warm and sweet. It's filled with something. Is it condensed milk? Good God, it's delicious. Sighing and shoving the bun into her mouth, Roberta giggles. Oh my God, this is so good. You definitely have a talent. Oh please, by the time you're my age, you'll need some cooking to survive. We laugh as I put the bun's napkin in my pocket to discard later. Thanks so much for the treat. I won't interrupt you any longer. Roberta smiles at me and nods. The hour passes in the blink of an eye. Class is starting soon, so I get up and make my way to the classroom. I wonder why they would put a potions laboratory in the lower floors of the academy. It makes for an interesting atmosphere, but I can't help but think if a potentially dangerous activity being so hidden away behind numerous shady corridors is a sensible idea, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, I make my way down to the lowest floor of the academy and find the right door with ease. A typical slightly noisy atmosphere greets me outside the offices. My two friends are already standing around talking about something. How many times do I have to tell you? Windy apple juice won't give you purple coloring if you mix it with husk. It's pink. But I got purple somehow. Maybe because you used the wrong husk? Gabriel remembers and lets out a loud sigh. Oh my God, I completely forgot to pulverize the root. I just threw it in the cauldron. Hedwig grins and notices me. Ah, Hooji, good morning. Look who's here. It's my favorite white wolf, Hooji. How's your evening? I grin awkwardly and move closer to them. It was fine, except for the fact that after you left, I passed out until the morning. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Hedwig frowning. Wow, but you left pretty early, around, 7 o'clock? You slept the whole 12 hours? That's not a bad thing. You should learn from him. I chuckle and awkwardly scratch the back of my head. I have no idea. I just passed out, woke up in bed by myself. Hedwig looks skeptical, and Gabriel brushes it off. Well, the important thing is that you're okay. Did you read the articles I sent you? I hope you remember the basics of potion brewing. They say the class is not as easy as it seems at first. Damn. Are you having trouble with the subject? Well, how do I put it? We didn't really study potions back in my village. I'm pretty much blank on this subject. A lot of people say the teacher, Mr. Derick, is a real sweetheart, though, so it should be okay if you just tell him you don't know shit. Hey! Gabriel only smiles broadly. How rude. I've been meaning to ask you, Hooji, but how did you manage to get into this academy? No offense, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. Gabriel looks interested. Well, let's just say I received an invitation. One look at Hedwig's face tells me he does not believe me one bit. Understandable. I wouldn't have believed me either. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious. It's okay. I'm also left wondering what I'm doing here. Hedwig stares at me for a while, then just sighs. So then you didn't do any of the entrance exams? Are you some kind of big shot? The questioning leaves me somewhat exposed, which Hedwig notices at once. Let's talk about it over lunch later, alright? I nod understandingly, to which Gabriel shrugs. I worked my ass to get here, because this dragon wouldn't have survived without me. He should consider himself lucky. Yeah. I'm getting suspicious after that whole deal at Mr. Astor's class the other day. You must be some kind of walking sex idol, I bet. Gabriel's laughter is interrupted by another smack on the head. One of these days I'm going to beat the shit out of you for real. Not before you kiss my ass. Gabriel sticks out his tongue and hides behind my back. I swallow nervously and stare at the dragon's approaching figure. Coward, that's your style, though. The feline laughs and returns to his seat. Hedwig mumbles something and looks at the time. Class is starting in a minute and the teacher is nowhere to be seen. There's no shortage of men like that. You can make an exception for him. Hedwig sighs heavily and shakes his head. Our conversation is interrupted as a raccoon's face appears from the archway of the nearby office that no one dared enter. I catch a glimpse of the name tag on his robe with C.D. Bryed handwritten on it. Enter the laboratory and sit quietly. His name is in Cyrillic or Russian? I don't know. I don't know if it's Bryed or what it means or what it reads. I'm sorry. Why am I not surprised? The potions room is in a small basement. There was no door to it, just an empty archway. The room is decorated with all sorts of lamps and glowing trinkets. There are no windows, which was not surprising, considering how deep inside the academy we are. Despite the decorations, the room lighting was still lacking. The lamps aren't doing their job, but the subdued lighting is kind of calming, somehow. It doesn't take an expert to realize that the place was in perfect order. Almost everything was neatly organized and immaculately clean. Like many freshmen, I linger in the aisle unsure of where to sit, but Hedwig and Gabriel quickly pull me back, sitting with me on the table closest to the chalkboard. It's so dark you can barely see the corner of the room from here. I like it. Perfect for a nap. You just want to sleep. It smells so strange here. By the way, I wonder if we'll learn to make something like a love potion. Gabriel chuckled softly. The grumpy raccoon steps into the room and stands near the blackboard. His voice is rather low, so when he speaks, all of the group's attention falls on him, trying to decipher his barely audible instructions. Sit tight. The teacher will be here soon. He spoke in an almost angry, cold tone. I wonder if he's a student like us. He looks very young. Hey, who even are you? Bryed, oh, so his name is really Bryed. Bryed, who was about to go back to his office, froze for a second, then turned to face us. I'm Bryed, Mr. Derick's assistant. A pleasure to meet you all. That being said, I hope we never cross paths again. Hey, you can't just say that to some student. Hedwig squeezes the tiger's muzzle shut with his paw. With no response, Bryed starts walking away, just in time for Mr. Derick to appear in the doorway. Apparently, he wasn't in much of a hurry, even for our first class. My bad, Bryed. I got carried away picking my breakfast and didn't see the time. To say the raccoon was furious is an understatement. Can't say I'm surprised, Mr. Derick. That's the third time this week. The teacher smirks. You won't believe it. The cafe was selling such delicious pies that I couldn't... Mr. Derick, your students are waiting for you. Are you suggesting I start teaching this class? A mischievous smile appears on the bear's face. No. Mr. Derick only smirks. Thanks for waiting for me. You can go back to the prep room. A slightly embarrassed Bryed quickly disappears out the door. I told you he was cool. I don't even know what to say to that a teacher's pancakes are more important to him than giving a class at the best academy of this region, or maybe he was just that hungry. At least that shows his priorities. The polar bear stands in the middle of the podium. His body language conveys nothing but complete relaxation. Well, dear students, welcome to your first potions class at this academy. We meet a couple of times per week, so I hope you won't be bored with me or my subject. Each class we will have a practical exercise for you to work on. Now, even if any of you dear students are lacking in basic knowledge for this class, don't stress yourself. We will start from the most basic of potions and work our way to the more intricate processes. Yay! Nonetheless, make an effort to not miss classes or fall behind on your assignments, and I promise your efforts will be rewarded. As for the actual class curriculum, I'll be taking you through... I have issues with it, so we will work at our own pace, but still roughly following the given set path by the academy. Hedwig's voice interrupts the teacher's monologue. Do our notes have any impact on how we are graded in this class? Ah, great question. I appreciate your interest. Note-taking is optional, but if you so desire, we can all agree to have it count as extra credits for your final grade. How's that sound? To be frank, the marks for your practical assignments will count the most towards your final grade, and by the way, you'll be able to use your notes while you work on them. I'll allow it. I can't say I'm happy about it, but if I have a chance to improve my grade in any way whatsoever, I should take the chance. Let's see now. Today we'll be learning to prepare a talking potion. Hedwig instantly grins upon hearing today's task. Are there any among you who have prepared it before? Hedwig gets a cocky smile and holds up his paw, answering proudly. It's a potion that changes the voice pitch of the person who consumes it. It's similar to the effect of inhaling helium. Mr. Derick clapped happily. That's correct. I'm glad the recipe is still around. It's an old, rarely used potion, and it may have gone out of style, but it's one of my favorites, so that's what we're going to make today. I heard about this back in high school. My classmates used to prank each other with it all the time. It was kind of funny, but it got old quickly. Alright class, let's remember the basic ingredients for making this potion. The white bear comes to the blackboard and starts listing the ingredients in a sloppy handwriting. The most basic version of this potion consists of peevelberry, firebrick, milkgrass, and windy apple. Unsurprisingly, none of these ring a bell. I've only heard of windy apple before. This potion is very simple, and it's made accordingly. Let's get to it. First, place your assigned cauldron on the stone slab above the fire pit. Adjust it so it is centered on the fire pit. I think everyone can handle that. Fill the cauldron halfway with water. Next, you must take 3 to 4 peevelberries and grind them to a pulp. The juices of the berry need to be released or the potion won't work. After that, you must hastily add the firebrick and only then the milkgrass. Let me remind you, firebrick is a fire herb and milkgrass is a flower, but we only need its essence. It is the first class and the most basic of potions and my brain can barely keep up, and we're not even done yet. Bring the mixture to a boil, making sure not to overheat, and add the juice of a windy apple, and you're done. Easy, right? I like to keep it simple for our first couple lessons. Looking around the class, I see most of my classmates diligently writing down every word the teacher says, even Gabriel. Oh, by the way, and this is important, your potion must be blue in color. Certain factors can turn it green, a color similar to a lettuce, but you need it blue. Well, let's go from theory to practice. I'm going to need a couple of volunteers. His gaze travels over me and stops on Hedwig. You, young man, and bring your roommate with you. Hedwig elbows me gently, which means I'm coming too. Out of all people and even Gabriel, he chooses me. What a setup. Mr. Derick is very enthusiastic. He clearly loves what he does. And, you. His finger points to another student who stands up as we do. We all follow the teacher to the other end of the room. Everything you need can be found on these shelves. Don't be shy now. Go ahead. Taking all the ingredients from the shelves, I examine them. Peevel is a blue-colored berry, the fireweed is a very small stub, and milkgrass is a beautiful flower so fresh it could be mistaken for a recently picked one. Finally, I grasp one of the windy apples in my paw. There are different colors, purple and yellow. As far as I remember, purple windy apples are harvested towards the end of the season, so they're not really suitable for this potion if I want to get that blue color. The three of us stand by our cauldrons while Mr. Derick leisurely examines what we've taken to work with. That's great. Glad to see you know what ingredients you'll need for this assignment. He looks at the time and happily imposes a deadline on us. In any case, you have no more than half an hour for this assignment, friends. Whoever brews their potions the fastest wins an extra credit. Go! The other two are instantly going at it, preparing their workplace. Shit! I quickly fill the cauldron with water. Fire! Fire! Okay, I have to try it. I put my paw in front of me, and in my head, I visualize the hotness of a flame. A few moments after, a spark out of my fingers, igniting the fire pit under the cauldron. Phew, I was afraid something would go wrong again. I have everything I need now. Now, onto the ingredients. Oh gosh, we have to remember, take 3 to 4 berries and grind them, or take 3 to 4 berries and drop them into the cauldron. Oh, I quickly forgot. Wait. Okay, so I totally didn't cheat, and I need to take 3 to 4 berries and grind them. I put the berries on the table, gather their juices, and add them to the cauldron. Simple stuff. I can't mess this up. Okay, Hooji, what now? Oh gosh. Add the milk grass first and then the fire brick, or add the fire brick first and then the milk grass. I am not paying attention. Okay, so we have to add the fire brick first and then the milk grass. I add the fire brick. I break the stalk of the milk grass, extracting the white essence from it and add it to the mixture. The boiling liquid immediately begins to change color. God, I hope it comes out right. Take a yellow windy apple and make the potion blue, or take a purple windy apple and make the potion green. Okay, so I remembered that it has to be blue. So I have to take a yellow windy apple to make the potion blue. I take the fresh yellow windy apple, carefully pry it open, and pour the juice into the cauldron, hoping for a blue color. Some of the juices get on my clothes, but I'm too focused to care. Everything is going well so far. I leave my cauldron and raise a paw, marking my finish time. Mr. Derick nods and smiles shyly at me, waiting for everyone to finish. Hedwig finishes right after me, and the third member of our competition finishes last. Well, let's take a look at what you've concocted. Mr. Derick approaches the last one to finish. May I know your name, young man? It's Eclair, sir. Now, let's see. Mr. Derick looks into the cauldron and shakes his head. You were very close, Eclair. You used the purple windy apple for nothing. The boy sighs loudly in frustration. Mr. Derick walks over to Hedwig's cauldron and sighs. A fine result, young man. What may I call you? A dry Hedwig spews out of the dragon's mouth. A very good result, Hedwig. The color is wonderful, and all the ingredients are mixed just right. The teacher's muzzle shines with joy. The polar bear heads towards me. The fierce eye contact starts as soon as he's done with Hedwig, which makes me fall into a slight stupor. How may I address you? His soft gaze falls on me. I'm Hooji. Well, what can I tell you? You two have done well with the task you've been given. Well done. And you, Eclair, better review your notes. Yes, Mr. Derick. Please give a round of applause to your two classmates for successfully brewing the talking potion. It is not every day a student passes their first practical exercise, so I'll definitely remember your names. That was quite the intro to potion brewing, no? Remember, this is just the most basic of potions. We'll be studying much more interesting brews along the semester. For example, potions and poisons for pest control, some acids that can dissolve objects where magic is powerless. And towards the end of our course, you will learn how to prepare truth serums, various poisons, healing ointments, and much more. The polar bear gasps for air briefly, obviously out of breath from his long-winded monologue. Anyhow, the lesson is coming to an end. It has been a pleasure to meet a new class. If anyone has any questions for me, you can find me in this office. The teacher nods towards the door behind him, where Bryed had gone at the beginning of the class. Looks like class is really over. Just as I'm about to start heading for the exit, Gabriel swoops in right beside me, grabbing my arm. Dude, can I get an autograph? You'll become an elite student in no time if you keep acing all the classes like this. You don't seem too thrilled about it, Hooji. Your tail is making the janitor's job way harder. As we walk through the musty hallways to the exit, my tail is intensely wagging along the dusty floor, making little dust clouds where I stand. I didn't even realize. I thought you said you had trouble with potions, didn't you? You got through it pretty fast for someone who doesn't know a thing about potions. I was imagining Hedwig to be a sore loser, but I guess he's not the competitive type. He's kind of happy about it even. Your sorcerer really sucks though. You almost overheated the cauldron. Stop being jealous. He did it so much better and faster than you. You're just mad you lost. Hedwig raises an eyebrow menacingly, then sighs loudly. Well, I really don't know much about potions. I was just lucky. Don't be so modest. Bask in your victory. Gabriel laughs and starts hurrying us along. Before we end the video, I would like to give a massive thank you to our patrons. Your support means more than the world to us. It means the galaxy to us. Check out patreon.com/arcandray07 to be a patron today. Ciao!